Yes, very much so. For example, if there is a train accident and I'm representing one of the employees of the railroad company, then there's a thing called the Federal Employee Liability Act, FELA, which basically says that if a person who works for a railroad company is injured in an accident, it's clear liability, and there are no caps on damages, and you have to proceed to show what the damages are, but there's not as many issues on liability or fault. Okay, if I'm representing someone who is hit by a train, and I've had many of those, and they're all deaths, there were a few dismemberments, but as you can imagine, being hit by a train, then you have to, there's a whole lot of different things you have to look at. Trains, like tractor trailer trucks, have a lot of devices on them that record speed. There's a whole book on horn signals. So, for example, when a train approaches a crossing, which is where most accidents happen, the horn is supposed to blow 2 longs, a short, and a long. Okay? And this is actually, there's a book, a train manual, that tells the conductor how many, what type of horn he's supposed to blow in terms of the length and the number of blows that he's supposed to put in a given situation. Okay? There are federal regulations that apply to trains. Obviously, when there's an accident, you have to look at a lot of different factors with a train. You have to look at the tracks. You have to look at the train itself. You have to look at switching mechanisms. You have to look at lights. Did the crossing bars go down? Were they working? The train accidents are very, very unique, and they're like airplane accidents, usually either death claims or extremely serious injury claims. And you have to, and the train, the FEC, for example, Florida East Coast Railway, which we have here, they fight the claims tooth and nail. Okay, and CSX, which is the big train company that runs through Florida, they fight the cases tooth and nail. Okay, and so you have to look at specific regulations. I had a case where a young man, unfortunately 14 years old, was he was stopped with his dog at tracks, and he knew that a train was coming from his right, and he was looking at the train on the right, and there were 2 sets of tracks. And when that train passed, he went to make a step off the first set of tracks, but unfortunately, the train coming from the right was on the furthest set and was masking the noise of the train that was coming from the other direction. So as he went to set his foot down, he got hit by the train coming from the left. And but the train was speeding, and the conductor knew that there was a path. It was actually a worn path where people were using this every day to cross the tracks, because there was a grocery store on one side. And so the train company settled that case. But you have to look at all the parameters with the train case. They're different.